So you asked your boss for a raise, and they said no. Rejection is hard. I get it. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what to say to your boss so that you can bounce back from this with power, with compassion, and with purpose, and so that you can get back on track towards earning more money and making more of an impact. What do you say to your boss? Well, that depends because there are at least 6 different kinds of no's, and I'm going to walk you through them one by one. The first kind of no is the clueless, I don't know how to manage no. What does this sound like? It sounds something like, oh, well, gosh, golly gee, I don't know. A promotion? Huh, no, I don't think so. Or it could sound something like, oh, a promotion. Oh, that's interesting. Tell me more about that. Tell me more about why you want one. It could also look like, oh, well, okay. Let me get back to you on that. So read between the lines here. In all of these scenarios, I'm asking you not just to assess what your boss said when you asked. I'm also asking you to look at the pattern of behaviors that your boss has exhibited in the past. And unfortunately, in this particular scenario, there are many bosses who don't know how to manage. They do it poorly, and they don't do it well. And so I'm asking to bring forth some power here for sure, but also some compassion. They may not know how to advocate for you to get a promotion. So in this case, if that was the response, oh gosh, golly gee, no, we don't do that here, or that's never been happened, or, oh, another thing that they might say is, we don't do this outside of performance review time. So why don't you ask me again in a year, or in 9 months, or in 6 months? That's also how this can show up. That's an indicator that they don't know how to manage, they don't know how to advocate for you. Because the ideal response here is, oh, wow, that's cool, really great. Wow, that's awesome that you have these goals. And let me see, let me figure out how I might advocate for you. And then they might have some questions for you. And then they might just tell you, here's what I need from you. Here's what we can do together so that I can advocate for you. That's the ideal response here. And it happens a lot, actually. But also what happens a lot is an I don't know, no, whatever. So in this particular scenario where it's an I don't know how to manage, I don't actually know how promotions work, I don't know how to be an advocate for you is essentially what they're saying. Empower them to advocate for you. That's what you want to do here. Manage your boss. I know it sucks. Shouldn't my boss know how to manage? I get it. It's so irritating. And if you want to get a promotion, if you want to earn more money, if you want to have more of an impact, you're going to need to empower your boss to advocate for you. So I want you to reapproach the situation. That's like step 1 in all of these situations, by the way, is you're going to reapproach your boss. How you reapproach your boss is going to depend on the form of no that you received. In this case, you're going to reapproach your boss with some data and with some resources, with some proof on how promotions work, and more specifically, what that advocacy process looks like. So reapproach your boss and say something like, so I actually have some data to share with you about promotions at the organization. I actually found it really, really interesting. And then share that data. So you're going to need to do some reconnaissance here. So find out what happens when people get promoted and what's the process. And so here's the step-by-step process that's followed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And often what's really key in these cases, this is what you might say to your boss. What's really key in these cases is that person's boss advocating for them. Make sense? Great. So what do you need to see from me what do you need from me in order for you to advocate for me for this promotion? So you see how that question is different and how it's so helpful, especially for someone that's like, I'm not sure how this works. Because you're no longer asking them for the promotion. Hey, boss, give me a promotion. What you're asking them to do is advocate for you. And you are owning your own power. You're owning your side of the street and saying, yeah, I know that I need to do some stuff here. Not only like add more value and, show how badass I am, but I'm also I'll deal with the paperwork. Like, I'll do it. But I do need your help here because that's an important part of the process. Can you do that for me? And then have a conversation from there. It's all about a series of conversations. How do you upgrade your career? How do you land your hell yes job? You have to have the series of conversations necessary. So that's what that looks like in that scenario. The second kind of no is the narcissistic a-hole no. It is probably the most infuriating. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of options in terms of dealing directly with your boss here. Bringing the lead up front, essentially, you want to go around your boss. If your boss is truly a narcissistic a-hole, then your boss is not going to advocate for you, and they're not going to be a great advocate. Then you're going to want to find another advocate. You're going to want to find, it's your boss's boss or someone else that wields some form, or at least has connections with someone else who wields some form of decision-making power in being able to say, yeah, here's the promotion. I hope what you're also seeing here beneath all of this is that you need to be having conversations with the decision makers, with the actual decision makers. So do your research. Who's the one who's actually going to sign the check? Who's actually going to sign off on this? It's not HR. They're partners here. But and it's usually your boss's boss, someone like that. So with the narcissistic a-hole boss, find another advocate, essentially. How do you know that your boss is a narcissistic a-hole? Well, it could be tricky. And this is all about a pattern of behaviors. It's not just about this one time that they're acting this way. Because for some people, they act this way just when it's like, can you help me? Or when it's about money, or when it's about a promotion. But in all other cases, they're actually pretty good people. So again, have some compassion here and get resourceful. But here's how you know you're dealing with a narcissistic a-hole boss and you want to find another advocate. So essentially, when you ask your boss for a promotion, like, hey boss, my goal is to get promoted to director of data. Can you advocate for me with that? And what do you need to see from me? Right? And then their response is like, what? This again? Seriously? Didn't you just ask me this 6 months ago? Or it could sound like, why? Like, why do you want a promotion? I thought you were okay where you are. It could also sound like, oh, well, yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, I hear you want a promotion. I don't know that we have the money for that. And, XYZ Project is really, really tough right now. And, I really need to talk to you about that too, because XYZ Project is just off the rails. It is a complete and total nightmare. And I don't think that you should be focusing on a promotion right now. Actually, like that is totally not what you want to do. So let's talk about XYZ Project, please. So I call that like contempt with a side of word salad, or vice versa. They're not actually answering the question, and it's a little contemptuous. It's hurtful. There's also a little bit of it's invalidating. So if it's invalidating, if it feels contemptuous, if it feels rude, if it feels antagonistic, if it feels a little bit gaslighty, like Like they're like, why would you do that? And if this behavior carries through in other places too, then you're dealing with a narcissist, or at least someone who has narcissistic tendencies. In that case, your response to your boss is, okay, got it, understood. Bye. That's it. And then you find another advocate. If you don't have another advocate, make one, build relationships, or you always have the choice to leave. I want you to remember that. I know that a lot of you love your teams. You love the work that you do, and it just so happens that your boss is an asshole. I'm sorry. And you always have a choice. Remember, the key here in dealing with any kind of rejection at work is accessing a combination of power, resourcefulness, and compassion. Compassion for yourself and also compassion for others. Look, I'm not making the narcissist right. They should not be doing these things. But also see that they're doing this because they are so afraid of your power. And they don't want it. No, if you get promoted, oh my God, you're leaving me. You're abandoning the narcissist if you were to get promoted. But they can't appear weak. So then they do these power plays. If your boss is a narcissist, find another advocate. There's another form of no that's related to the narcissistic no. That's what I call the I'm afraid of your power no. It could also be don't steal my thunder no. I want that job no. It's like your boss is afraid of you stealing their job. And so this can absolutely happen with narcissists, but with narcissists, it's a pattern, and this behavior happens in other contexts. With people who are simply, afraid of you stealing their power, it's probably only going to come up in the context of you asking for a promotion or for more power, more visibility, because they want that visibility. In some organizations, the reality is the only way to get a promotion is if your boss gets fired or if your boss leaves. In that case, see the whole board, please. Make sure that don't ask for a promotion to your boss. Don't ask your boss for a promotion if it means that person is getting fired. You can level up elsewhere, or perhaps there's a spot in between. A lot of times it's like getting promoted, your boss gets to stay a senior director and you get promoted from manager to director or something like that. That's absolutely something that can happen. Or it's a lateral move. You might move teams. That's fine. And then of course there's cases where your boss is actually on the way out. Your boss wants to shift as well. So there are absolutely cases where you don't need to steal your boss's job in order to get a promotion. And even if you're not stealing your boss's job to get a promotion, then they still may be scared of your power. So that can sound like so many different things, right? They might try to deflect. They may sound like a narcissist. So the things that I said that a narcissist might say, they may actually say those things. Oh gosh, do you really want that? Right? They may also say straight out to you, no. Just no. That's not possible. Can't do that for you. Sometimes that's what the no sounds like. No, I'm sorry. You can't get promoted. And then always, always, always follow up. So if you haven't done this yet, you can do this in most of the circumstances except for the narcissistic a-hole, then find another advocate. Then you're going to ask this to the advocate again. Instead of asking, I'd like a promotion, can you give it to me? Or it's probably not what you're saying, but I'd like a promotion, can you help me get one? Be more specific. I'd like a promotion. My goal is to get promoted to Director of Analytics. by December, can you be my advocate? That's the question. Can you advocate for me? And then it's like, okay, we're going to do this together. That's the request. But the answer might still be, especially if an I'm afraid of your power no, it might still be, no, sorry, I can't advocate for you for that. They might do that. It's because they can't have you in that higher up. So then it's like, when it's just a straight out no, you have to like see the whole board and think strategically. That's what you do. You're a technical leader. Apply this to your career. Apply this to your request for a promotion. See the whole board. Is that what's happening here? Are they afraid of your power? If they are, then reapproach. Again, you're going to need to do some reconnaissance, do some data gathering, talk to people. Find out where that spot is. What's the actual spot that you want? And let's say that spot that you want is actually over in a different silo, over in a different department, but like in a sister department. Then it's, hey boss, I wanted to follow up. I know that you said that you could not be my advocate for a promotion. I totally respect that. I actually did some research though, and what I found out is that there is a spot open over here in this organization. And I realized that, or in this silo, or in this part of the organization, I realized that maybe you didn't know about that. And that's actually a job that can fit really well for me. And then see what they say. Because a lot of times it's like, oh, wow, I actually didn't know about that. Because they have their blinders on. They don't know what's going on in all these other silos. Oh, wow, yeah, actually, you want to do that? Oh, wow. Oh, okay, cool. So what is that going to look like? And then you can start getting strategic. If they still say no, then it might be the scenario where they're saying no and they mean no, and I'm going to get to that. There's a type of no where it actually means no. But explore your options here. Get resourceful. Get resourceful. That's what I'm saying. The fourth kind of no is, please don't bother me, I'm so swamped. No. No, yeah, oh gosh, I can't talk about that right now. No. And then they might try to like divert you to talk about XYZ project, or, oh my God, no, there's no money right now. It's, oh my God, do you realize how fucking crazy things are right now? It's basically like, OMG, don't talk to me about this. You want to talk about your career? No, we got to talk about this project. May sound a little bit assholey, but like it's just in that context. They're overall like a really good person, generally speaking, but you know that they're overwhelmed. They are burnt as toast. They are burnt out. In that case, reapproach them again with a more specific request and more data and your resourcefulness. A sense of, I'm going to own my side of the street here. Again, it gets specific. I know you're swamped. Can I have 10 minutes of your time? Here's what I'd love for you to do for me. In this case, it's really important to have a specific ask. So it's, especially in this case, it's actually not enough to just say, can you advocate for me? Can you be my advocate in getting a promotion? You have to be even more specific. So in this case, do your research. What are the steps to getting a promotion? And what do the higher ups need from your boss? Maybe it's a letter. Maybe it's a letter of recommendation, or it's a sign off or something like that. So let's say it's a letter of recommendation. Like your boss's boss needs a letter of recommendation. So feel free to talk to your boss's boss about this. You do not need permission to have conversations with people regardless of what their title is. Talk to the CTO, talk to the CEO, talk to other people. Hey, can I pick your brain for 5 minutes about making more of an impact in this organization? The CTO is going to be like, great. How can I help? So I want to make more of an impact, and I want to get a promotion to director of data. And I know that I'm going to need my boss to advocate for it. So Joe's going to advocate. But I know, between you and me, he's really, really swamped right now. And I want to give him a specific ask. So what I found is that maybe we need a letter of recommendation from Joe in order for you to then be able to sign off so that I could then potentially get that promotion. So does that sound good to you? And then have that conversation, right? And then he may be like, yeah, I would need Joe's sign off. I would need your boss's sign off. And also, here's how it works. And you're going to get more information about here's how promotion works. You're also going to get their model of the world too, by the way. So you're going to get their vision and their opinions, which may be valid or not, about how promotion works. So then you can go to your boss and say, hey, Joe, I'd love for you to write me a letter of recommendation or insert whatever is required from Joe. Or I'd love for you to have a quick conversation with your boss, letting him know that you are totally on board for promoting me to director, for promoting me to senior manager. And in that letter and in that conversation, can you please include A, B, C, D, E, F, G, basically like resume bullet points. And can you also just say a little bit about what you believe are my most valuable strengths and my most valuable pieces of impact? Can you do that for me? Can you write this letter? Can you write this 3-paragraph letter? And can you send it to me or can you send it to X person by next Friday? Can I count on you for that? Give them a very specific ask. And again, have a conversation, have a series of conversations, follow up with them. They might say no. They might say, I'm too swamped. In which case, you get to decide what's next. Okay, how about I write the letter? If I were to write that letter for you, would you sign off on it? Oh yeah, sure. Sometimes that happens. True story, folks. True story. Like I've had this actually happen when I've been the boss. Not that I'm overwhelmed or whatever, but sometimes people think I am. Team members have thought that I am. So they'll come to me and they'll be like, here's this letter of recommendation. I took the liberty, please forgive me, to write it. Like it's your letter of recommendation for me. Well, I took the liberty of writing it. Can you like just please sign this? And in my case, I'm like, you know what? I want to put my own, little flair on it. Thank you for, starting. Give me a starting point. I'm totally happy to write a letter of recommendation for you, or I'm totally happy to advocate for you. I'm totally happy to talk to the CEO, the president, whoever, to talk about how amazing you are. This is going to give me some great stuff to start with. Cool. But like, if someone is truly overwhelmed, like, hey, how about I write it for you? All right, I don't know. So then write it for you. Write it for that person. Hey, can you sign off on this? Can you please take a look at it? Like, can I have 5 minutes? Can you please take a look at this right now? And if then they keep saying no, then there's probably something else going on. It may be a no that means no. Get resourceful, get compassion, and own your side of the street here. It's your promotion. Yes, you need them to advocate for you, but there is still work that you need to do in order to make it happen. The fifth kind of a no is a no that could mean yes. So this can sound like, I don't know, not sure. I don't know about that. Probably not, maybe. Something like that. Or they're giving you the runaround, or they're saying, ask me again in 6 months, ask me during performance review time. That's not a no. That's a maybe. So don't make a maybe mean a no. Some of you are doing that, so I'm just reminding you that here. So follow up. Follow up. Ask more questions, in other words. I don't know. Not sure. Ask me again in 6 months. Totally appreciate it. Can I ask, why 6 months? Oh, because that's performance review time, and that's when the budget comes in. Okay, got it. Understood. I'm curious, do you know of any cases where people have gotten promoted outside of performance review time? Well, actually, there has been a couple of times. So what happened there? What was that case? Or they might say, no, I don't know of any. Okay, got it. I actually do know of one. This is where your research is coming in, right? You're doing the research. I actually do know of one, now that I think of it. Sally over in engineering got promoted last year, and it was outside of performance review time. And it was because Blake, her boss, was like, yeah, you know what? Sally needs a promotion. She's been underpaid and underrecognized for way too long. So Blake did that for Sally. Can you be my Blake? Would you be willing to do that? Because there's precedent here. We can follow that precedent. Would you be willing to do that for me? So get curious. If it's a no, that might be a yes. If it's a maybe, if it's an I don't know, if it's maybe 6 months from now, get curious. Ask more questions. See the whole board, like I've been saying. Get a sense of the context here. What's really going on? What's really going on here? And speaking of what's really going on here, the last kind of no that I want to introduce is a no that actually means no. So that could sound like, nope, sorry, can't do that. You're going to peel beneath the layers. You're going to get curious. You're going to ask more questions. But sometimes it just means no. And sometimes you simply are not allowed to have access to the information for why it's a no. And it's like, oh, wow, that sucks that people are keeping the secret information. But again, have compassion. When you become director, VP, C-level, there will be pieces of information that you cannot and actually should not share with everyone in the organization. It's the realities of being a leader, particularly an upper level leader and an executive level leader. Everyone can't know everything. So if the no actually means a no, then you always have a choice. I want to remind you that again. You always have a choice. You can choose to wait, especially if the no is of the form of not now, but 6 months from now when we have more money, or not now, but 9 months from now when we're actually going through the performance review process. You can choose to wait. You could choose to wait it out. If you actually believe, if you have some sense of hope, like real hope that's backed up by data, not just I hope, it's data-based hope, that this could be a possibility. You might decide to stay and wait it out. You could also choose to leave. And please do not allow anyone to string you along. Do not allow people, your boss, your boss's boss, any other decision makers, to keep telling you, I don't know, we gotta wait. I don't know, we gotta wait. How many times do you want to hear that until it's like, they just don't want to tell me no? So a no that means no may actually sound like an I don't know or let me think about it. They just don't want to tell you no. Lots of people are afraid of telling other people no. So when I don't know, I need to think about it, ask me again in 3 months, that may actually be more of a no. And then in that case, you have some soul searching to do. Because if you want a promotion and you know you deserve a promotion and that's your career mission and you know you're not going to be able to get it at your current organization, it's time to leave. Real talk, it's time to leave. So those are the 6 kinds of no's that I could think of for the purposes of this video that I've been exposed to in helping clients to handle this rejection and to get on the other side of it and get the promotion, land their hell yes jobs. But are you dealing with a kind of no that I did not cover? If so, drop it in the comments. Let me know what kind of no, what flavor of no are you dealing with? and I'll take a look at them and I will consider addressing those in a future video. But definitely what I want you to do is consider what kind of no are you dealing with. And it could be a combination of the different kinds of no's that I covered, and then proceed with curiosity, proceed with power, and proceed with compassion. And please use this video as guidance. Take what's useful from it, leave the rest without judgment, and make it your own. So you may decide to use some of the things that I said verbatim. Perfect. Feel free to copy it. You may also, or you may also decide to say, all right, well, it's kind of this scenario, and then I'm gonna tweak this a little bit, and I'm gonna strategize and I'm gonna apply it to my own scenario. Also, perfect. So now that you have this specific guidance on dealing with rejection, that asking your boss for a promotion, and they said no, and what do you do next? You may want to take a step back and get even more strategic about your tech leadership career. If that's the case, check out the video that's popping up on the screen where I reveal the 5 steps that our tech leader clients are following to land their hell yes jobs. So check that one out now, and I'll see you in the next video.